It's Justine here from I Should Read That. Today is the start of a new reading vlog. So it's Tuesday and I am in week 2 of the N.E.W.T.s and I'm doing really well, you guys. I'm really pleased with how well the N.E.W.T.s are going for me. I'm so surprised because not only am I shit at sticking to a TBR, I'm also notoriously bad at readathons, even the readathons that I plan and run myself, not that the N.E.W.T.s is one of those. And I tend to be such a mood reader that I kind of like drift off into the distance. So I am really pleased with how my progress is going. I completed 2 challenges for the N.E.W.T.s last week, which you can see in that reading vlog, and this week I have already completed one, and as I said, it's only Tuesday. The book that I finished was City of Lies by Sam Hawke. I really enjoyed this book. I listened to the audiobook and it's a carryover from July, but I had some trouble getting into it initially because it's a lot more complex, I think, than some of the audiobooks that I listened to, and there was a lot of setup that had to happen, but the ultimate payoff, the reward, was amazing. This book follows 2 siblings, Avon and Kalina, and they are descendants of this family that have sort of historically protected the chancellor of the city, the person who rules the city, and they are kind of the opposite of poisoners. They're the ones that sort of test for poison and keep the chancellor alive. Their uncle holds the current position, and he and the chancellor are actually poisoned and killed in a way that they have never seen before from poison, completely new to them. And there is a rumblings of an army descending upon the city, and it's kind of a murder mystery, but it's also kind of a siege narrative. It's so good. I really enjoyed this. The payoff was amazing. As I said, I think that Sam's a really talented writer, and this was her debut novel, so I really love this. I'll probably give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. As I've said in previous vlogs, I have not been giving books star ratings immediately after reading them because I want to let it kind of percolate a little bit, because I have been changing some of my ratings by the time that I like get around to reviewing them, so I want to make sure that that doesn't like have any bias for me or whatever, but I think that this is going to be a very highly rated book for me. So City of Lies was for my A in herbology, which was to read an audiobook, and now I am moving on to my A grade in charms, which is to read a book with a beautiful cover, and I've misplaced it. It was in my backpack and I pulled it out to show you guys, and I don't know where it went, but it's 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. I have no idea where this book went. It's like I took it out and I wandered around, I put it down somewhere, don't know where it is, but it has a beautiful cover, and it's also been on my TBR for months because I was sent a proof copy of this book from Orbit ages ago, and it comes out in September, so I've not been worried about reading it until August. Suddenly September is coming up next month and I still have to read it, but I am 23 pages into this book and it is fantastic. It is beautiful. It is beautifully written. It has this wonderful imagery, and I'm like, oh, I'm loving it so much. And again, I've read like 23 pages of it. This book basically follows a girl named January who lives in America at the very beginning of the 20th century, and she is kind of telling her own story from her kind of current perspective, looking back to when she is a child and a teenager. She discovers a doorway to another land, and because it is a historical setting, obviously she's sort of a child who's meant to be seen and not heard, if seen at all, because she is of, we don't know what her heritage is, but she is not a white character. So there's a lot of kind of layers of complication that go with that. She is living as the ward of a very wealthy man who her father is in the employ of, and her father is always off kind of collecting these amazing artifacts, because the man is sort of a he's not an archaeologist, but he collects these items. So that's about as far as I've gotten, and I just think it's beautiful. I have tweeted about it, and several people have already come back to me to say that it is probably their favorite book of 2019, so I'm super excited for this. Guys, it was literally right behind me. This is 10,000 Doors of January. I feel very silly. I also received some lovely book posts today. These are both pre-orders that I bought for myself. They weren't sent by publishers. The first is a book I talked about in my last reading vlog quite a bit. This is To Be Taught Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I was sent a proof copy of this book, which is the one that I read, but I really wanted the lovely hardcover edition. I loved this book so much. I absolutely adored it, which is not a huge surprise because Becky Chambers is one of my favorite authors, and if you are a fan of hers, you're gonna love this so much. The other book that I received was The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is also a finished copy. I was sent a proof copy by Harper Voyager UK. I have actually read and reviewed this book already, but I wanted the beautiful hardcover to match my lovely edition of The Poppy War that I also have. I don't necessarily always buy finished copies of proofs and arcs that I already own that I've been sent by the publisher, so you know that it is a case of me absolutely adoring both of these books if I have done that. I think they're both phenomenal. They're two of my favorites of the year, and I know that they're really highly anticipated reads for other people, so if you're looking forward to these, I think you're gonna love them. It has been a busy couple of days, and last week was kind of a weird week. You can see that sort of choppy, weird vlog if you would really like. I got caught in some Twitter stuff. But I can kind of feel myself getting a little bit run down, sort of physically and mentally, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the tub possibly with 10,000 Doors of January, but Orbit stuck in these lovely like dried flowers between the pages, and I don't want to drop dried flowers in the tub, so maybe I'll pick up something else specifically for tub time. I'm not sure what that would be. It probably wouldn't be another N.E.W.T.s book. It'll probably be something from a sort of this giant stack of books that I want to read before the end of the year. We'll see how it goes, but I will check in with you guys in a day or so. Hello, so we are in London, it's Friday, and we are officially, as you can see, the last people in the queue for George R.R. Martin. I don't know if you can actually hear this or not, but maybe, as you know. So, Author Sister's already inside.
Because she's efficient.
Because she's efficient and she lives in London, which helps. We came over from Oxford, but it should be a really good time. I'm looking forward to it. The queue is absolutely insane, but, you know, as I said, bringing up the last of it. Friday, and it is kind of a fail of a vlog this week because I have not been vlogging, but yesterday we saw George R.R. Martin do a conversation-y thing with Dan Jones, which was really awesome. I really enjoyed, and we have had kind of a quiet day. We are at Julia, Author Sister's flat. It's currently pouring down rain, but we missed the rain earlier. We went to Foyles, which I will show you the books that I got later, and we're on our way to go see Sasha Velour. Sasha! We're super excited. So we're gonna go out into the rain, the real unfortunate rain. It's not great. And yeah, you can hear Author Sister's doing her thing, getting the flat ready for all of us to leave. And we're gonna go do that, so it should be good. Hopefully this vlog won't fail. I've not been filming much. Yeah. But I will update you guys tomorrow. I've been really bad about vlogging this week, but as I said in my last vlog, I knew it was just gonna be super busy this week. So it's been it's been pretty wild, as I think I might have shown you on Thursday. We went to go see George R. Martin in conversation with Dan Jones, which was great. It was really good. He's a surprisingly humble man for having been the creator of Game of Thrones. He's just lovely. He seems like a good, nice man, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And he talked about sort of how he thinks that a lot of his success with Game of Thrones came from being in the Legends anthology, which was an anthology of short stories. It was meant to be 10, but they thought he wasn't going to have his finished in time. So it ended up being 11, which I feel is classic George. But it was an anthology in the 90s with a short story from like Stephen King and Anne McCaffrey and all of these amazing authors. And he was asked to write a short story for that, which turned out to be the first Dunk and Egg novella. And he thinks that because that came out in between Game of Thrones and Clash of Kings, that really contributed to the success, the early success of the series, which was really cool. And he talked about a lot of the history that inspires the series, like the Black Dinner, which inspired the Red Wedding, for example. The Black Dinner was an event in Scottish history, which has probably been slightly jazzed up with untrue facts rather than true facts, but still makes a really good story. And he talked about the adaptations of Game of Thrones, and actually he had a really good response for kind of how they've changed the story. He said, you know, how many children does Scarlett O'Hara have? Well, in the film she has 1, and in the book Gone with the Wind she has 3, so which is true. Also the fact that Scarlett O'Hara is a fictional character and doesn't actually exist. So I loved that. I thought that was really great. So that was a really good talk. And then on Friday, we hung out at Author Sisters, and I, naturally, because I was in London, had to go to Foyles, which is my favorite bookshop, I think. One of my favorite bookshops. I have a few, but one of the reasons I like Foyles so much is that you can get American editions of books that aren't necessarily published in the UK. So, you know, often a lot of fantasy will be published in the US, particularly for YA, but won't... Oh, you're interrupting my vlog. Scottish husband just came back from his run and walked in. But as I was saying, I like Foyles because you can get a lot of the American editions that don't have UK publishers yet. So I went in, picked up 3 things. The first one being The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. I think this is a Fairy Loot book coming up. And I don't order Fairy Loot anymore because their delivery service is terrible. And I also have a lot of like crap I don't need. So I'm trying to cut down on subscription boxes. That being said, I did order a Lumicrate for this month. That's beside the point. But this looks really cool. I don't know a huge amount about it, but I remember when it was first announced, I was like, yes, I need this. So this has, first of all, a End Papers map, which is awesome. And this looks really fun. I'll go into it later when I have more time. Then I also picked up The House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. I actually started this on the bus ride back from Foyles because I forgot to bring my current read with me, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm only like 10 pages in, but it's a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and I, in some video way back when, was whining about retellings and how they're all kind of tend to be the same fairy tales over and over again, and I really wanted a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. Perfect. So this looks really fun. It's quite dark so far. It starts at the funeral of her sister. There are 12 sisters, and now there are only 8 sisters because 4 of them have died. So that is really cool so far. I'm liking that. And then I picked up Zodiac by Romina Russell. My friend Shanna, who's a blogger at Bionic Bookworm, read this and really liked it. I think that she was a little bit hit or miss on the rest of the series. This one's supposed to be really fun, and I couldn't get this cover out of my head, and I've never seen it in a UK bookstore, so I was really thrilled to pick this up. It's all about zodiac signs, and it's a young adult science fiction book, and it looks super fun, so I picked that up too. And then, because I'm with my family right now, I'm in the family home at the moment, but I was staying with my sister. So anytime that we all get together, I always end up borrowing books from everyone. So I am borrowing from my sister, The Chelsea Girls by Fiona Davis. We actually interviewed Fiona for the podcast that we run together, and she was like a spectacular human. And I was really interested in this. It's a historical fiction book, and it's set at the Chelsea Hotel in New York City. And I'm an ex-New Yorker and I love anything that has to do with New York. So I'm very, very, very excited to read that. I think it just came out, and also Julia got to blurb it because she's an author, she's author's sister, which is really cool. So her blurb is on the back of it, which makes me a little bit happy. But I also, because now we are at the family home, I am going to borrow The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This may seem completely and totally random for me, totally out of my wheelhouse, but it's not. I loved The Secret History. It's one of my favorite books. I read it long before I started blogging. And I've been wanting to read The Goldfinch for a long time. I have heard very mixed things about it, but I would, regardless, really, really like to read it. It's quite a long book. This is a hardcover, and it is 700 and something, 771 pages long. So April over, oh my god, Aprilis Maximus, she's one of the popular booktubers, fairly popular booktubers, has this method of reading long books where she like sections them off, and she reads like a section a day or every 2 days or something. So I think I'm going to try that with this one, and I feel like that will kind of help me get through it a little bit, because I love long books, but I'm super, super out of practice with them. I haven't read a really, truly long book in quite a while, but I am currently reading, let me reach and get it. It's like on the other side of the bed. Help. Oh my god. Okay. I am currently reading 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. I have about 50 or 60 pages left. I'm really, really loving this book. I will do a full review of it because I think it's worth talking about. And it's just like, it's really lovely. So I'm going to finish this today, and then I will go ahead and get back to The House of Salt and Sorrow and somehow get all of these books home. I don't really know how that's gonna work. But I'm also very sort of like, when I'm not able to sleep immediately, I've been reading on my Kindle. I started A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. This is no indication of what A Little Hatred is or looks like. And I'm about 10% into that, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm a little bit lost. It's been a while since I've read one of his first law books, and I really think that you should at least read the First Law trilogy before reading A Little Hatred. But it's been so long. I think I read it back when I was still living in New York, because I read it at work, on my work computer. I think it was in 2014 I finished that series, and then I read Best Served Cold in 2016, I think. So it's been a while since I've picked up one of Joe Abercrombie's books, but I am still enjoying it nonetheless. I'm probably going to go ahead and pull up the Wikipedia, or like the wiki for First Law World, and just like read that side by side, because I think that's going to be really helpful, because I know there are a lot of characters that I like have completely forgotten who they are. But regardless, I'm enjoying that. I'll get to the physical copy that I have of that when I'm back home. So we had a very busy day yesterday, as you should hopefully have seen. Hopefully I put in some of the footage that I shot. We were hanging out on a lovely narrow boat on the Avon for Scottish Husband's birthday, which is actually tomorrow. It's on the Monday. So I am a little bit worn out. We're all a little bit worn out. I'm a little bit less sunburned than I thought I was yesterday. But we're all going to go hang out and read, I think, until we have our train home. And at the end of the day and everything, I'll wrap up this vlog, because I'm going to be doing a lot more reading today. Okay, hello. It is still Sunday, but my dream has officially come true. My mom and dad have what's called a summer house in their garden, which is basically like, if you're from the US, I don't think I've ever heard of a summer house when I was still in the US. But if you're in the US, think like a gazebo, but like closed. So it's like literally a little teeny tiny house. And it's my favorite place to sit and read. I love it. And my dream has been like to sit in the summer house while it's pouring rain. And of course it's bucketing down right now. I'm so incredibly happy. And I have about 19 pages left of 10,000 Doors of January, so I am like beyond thrilled. It's the perfect time to finish this book. I'm also really wet right now. Dax, why are you making such horrible noises? Oh, come on. So it is still Sunday, but it is now time to wrap up this vlog. I am home. We made it home. We did not get poured on because the rain started just after we got home. It's been like thundering and there's been lightning and it's been pouring rain all day for like the entirety of the time that we've actually been back in the flat, which is nice because we didn't get poured on, but that's all right. It was a very, very busy week. As you saw, it was crazy, but it was so much fun. I had a really, really good time. I am very tired, but I know that this week is going to be a lot more low-key because Scottish Husband is going to be away on a work trip for part of the week, and it's just going to be calm. No plans, no nothing. It's going to be really good. I'm very happy because I need a rest. I did manage to finish 2 books this week. So the first one being City of Lies by Sam Hawke. I loved this book. I really enjoyed it. I think that it's one of those stories that's quite complicated, so it took some time to kind of lay down the groundwork for the story. But once I got into it fully, I ended up loving it. I was completely thrilled with this book. I am very, very intrigued by the second one. I'm very curious to see where she's going to go with the plot because there's definitely some things that she's left open. But I was really, really like absorbed in this particular story. So I'm very curious to hear what she's going to do next. I haven't rated this yet because I haven't written my review, as this new rule of mine is, but I'm probably going to go ahead and give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this. This also fulfills my A in herbology. I'm trying to keep all of my N.E.W.T.s prompts straight. So that is my herbology exam started, and I have my next books, which I'll show you. I'm hopefully going to read at least 1 or 2 of them next week, but A in herbology. I also, earlier today, finished The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, which I loved. I absolutely love this book. I think that this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people because it is one of those books that is, it really transcends its genre. It's both historical fiction, it has a lot of fantasy elements in it, enough that I would say it is a fantasy novel. It's also written in a really beautiful style. I loved her writing. It's quite literary in some places. It's just lovely, and it's such a good story. I really, really enjoyed this. Gut reaction is 5 out of 5 stars. Again, I'm not going to rate it until I actually review it, and I think I'll do a video review for this one. I don't do them for every book and every arc that I get, but I think this is worthy of having one. So again, probably going to be a 5 out of 5 rating. I was completely enchanted by this book. I really, really loved it. I was fully expecting to. It met all of my expectations. Some people that I know and really, really respect, and I completely trust in their opinions of books, love this as well. So I went in really, really sky-high expectations, and it absolutely met those. This was for my A in Charms, a beautiful cover. So I have now completed all of my A grades for my N.E.W.T.s. I have completed my E for Care of Magical Creatures as well. So I am reading a new book, which I will show you. That is The House of Salt and Sorrows, and this is by Erin E. Craig. I am 85 pages into this book. I'm really, really enjoying it. I don't always get on with retellings. I'm just really picky with them, I think. I haven't read any really truly great retellings in a long time, and that's also partially because I haven't read a lot of retellings in a long time. But I'm really enjoying this. I picked this up just on kind of a whim at Foyles. I remember seeing this cover. I've heard a couple people talk about it, but I don't think I've seen anyone reading it or reviewing it or anything like that. But it's really great so far. I'm really enjoying it. It feels much more like a full-on, this is a fairy tale that I am telling you, but it is longer, and it is just as dark as a lot of fairy tales are. I mean, it starts out with the funeral of her sister, who is the 4th of her sisters to die. Like, it's really, really dark. When I finish it, and I talk about it in my wrap-up, I'll do some content warnings for it as well. There's a lot of kind of death, and there's talk of a suicide that's in this book as well, so just as a heads up, but I'll have a complete list of content warnings. This is not for the N.E.W.T.s at all. I just wanted a little bit of a break from the N.E.W.T.s before I kind of dive back in and keep going, because I have trouble sometimes sticking to a TBR, but I do have the rest of my N.E.W.T.s books picked out. I haven't decided what I'm going to read next week, but I do have 3 more books. I thought I finished 5 of my N.E.W.T.s prompts, but I've only finished 4. So I have 3 more to go. I have Rosewater by Tade Thompson. This is for my E in herbology. I should just look this up. I don't have any notes. I never use notes, by the way. I just kind of make shit up. But I think this is for my E in herbology. I have The Thrilling Adventures of Lovelace and Babbage, which I think is for my E in, what's the other one? Oh God, what is it? Charms! It's for my E in Charms. This is a graphic novel, which looks super fun. This is probably the one I'm gonna read next. And then of course I have Crowfall, which I've talked about a million times on this channel. It's been in like 3 TBRs, it's been in a wrap-up, it's been in like exciting book videos and everything like that, and I still haven't read it. This is for my final grade in Care of Magical Creatures, my O. I'm gonna get here eventually. I'm probably going to read this one, as I say, next. But I will also, I don't know, when I finish House of Salt and Sorrows, I'm probably gonna pick up, as I said, graphic novel, and then maybe Crowfall, because it is much higher on my kind of list of priorities, especially because it is an advanced copy, and I feel like I have talked about wanting to read it for ages and haven't actually like followed through, so I feel kind of silly for that. But that's kind of how my reading week is probably gonna go. As I say, Scottish husband is not going to be here for part of the week, so I will definitely be getting a lot of reading done. I have plans to film a lot of stuff. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But it should be a good week. I'm really looking forward to it. That is the end of this vlog. I hope you enjoyed this slightly choppy, slightly manic, weird journey with me. I feel like because it was such a busy week, this is maybe less of a kind of like vlog where I actually talk about the stuff that I'm reading and just sort of show you bits of what my week has been like. Next week is going to be a lot less hectic. I hope you enjoyed this regardless. And also, if you want more of like what I do on a daily basis that's not reading involved, or, you know, basically want me to get out from, you know, behind this backdrop, just let me know. I'm very curious. I'm learning with vlogs. They're a little bit weird because they're not like, I know what I'm doing with a video. I don't really know what I'm doing with a vlog. So if there's anything that you want to see in the future, just give me a shout. In the comments below, let me know if you read anything really great this week, if you've read any of these books that I have shown you so far in this vlog, or if you have any of them in your TBR. I would love to hear from you. I post bookish content to this channel fairly frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe, check back soon, and I will see you next time.